Hello everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm going to give you a presentation of YunoHost that we can summarize very quickly as system administration for everyone or self-hosting for everyone. This conference is going to be a bit technical, maybe a bit more than the other one, but I was making a conference for FOSDEM. I hope it's going to be okay for you. Very shortly, I'm a software developer, I'm not a system administrator, and maybe a key point is that I'm coming from a quite politicized background in regards to privacy, net neutrality, and this kind of thing. I've been involved in La Quadrature du Net, a citizen group that fights for those questions during 3 years. But before explaining you YunoHost, I'm just going to give you a very short history of how YunoHost started, because I think this is the best way to understand why is it like that today. In 2011, Bud installed his own mail server, and Claude, which I don't here, wanted the same. Claude is not a system administrator, but Bud is a system administrator. They realized that replicating this kind of configuration was very hard and very boring at that time. So, like every good developer, Claude started to program a solution. And they made the first revision in 2012, and starting at this point, feature lists start to grow and grow and grow. So from emails, we went to XMPP, to managing several domains, to application, which is just free software for web that you install in things like WordPress, MediaWiki, DocuWiki, and those kind of things. Single sign-on, etc., etc., etc. But it's important to know that also this kind of people, and in France, we live in a very politicized context regarding this kind of development. There is a lot of organization that you see, some of them were present today, and the government has been very aggressive against this kind of thing, against internet. So self-hosting, surveillance, privacy is a political context for France in the free software community since a long time, and YunoHost has been developed in that context. But what is YunoHost? Yep. For you, I guess, most system administrator, YunoHost is going to look like that, or a key interface. This is the admin interface for YunoHost. You can see a part of the feature I just cited for you. You can manage user. Every user is going to have his own email account by default. Several domain, install application, backup is integrated. So you see this is really like the kind of common system administration things that you do. This is just to show you the list of applications that we got. So we get a solution for most of the common quite use case that you get on the internet. Not all those are here. So the list is not very interesting right now, but just to give you an idea, calendar, wiki, on cloud, we just moved to Nextcloud, file sharing, forum, this kind of thing, chat. And just to give you an idea on how easy it is to use it, this is just the installation of an application. You just say, I want to name it like that. I just choose a domain of the domain I got. Domain and subdomain are the same thing. And I just choose a path for the installation, and after it's custom option for the application, and you just click install, and that's done. And just some advanced feature that we got, just to give you an idea again. Diagnosis, monitoring is very simple for now, firewall, the kind of common thing that you find in system administration. And last but not least, for most of the users, for which we get single sign-on, so you sign only once, and you get a nice interface with big button to get to your whole application without having to log again. So that's YunoHost. And before going in the next subject, I just want to rephrase it like that. YunoHost is a thin layer on top of system administration operation that you do most of the time. Things you were going to do by hand are now done by YunoHost, and YunoHost is extensible if you need to. And this is both for the technical user that want to modify things that are not happy on the way we make things, up to the other kind of user that aren't technical expert in this kind of situation. We got several users that just never launch a terminal to use YunoHost. They still got a tech friend in case things go wrong, but I get several, for example, Puyu was doing the talk on Framasoft, never launched a terminal to manage his YunoHost server. Now I'm going to dive a bit into the core for YunoHost, how things are working for you to understand since we are at FOSDEM. One of the key points for YunoHost is that everything you do on the web admin interface, you can do on the command line interface. This is just a very simple example, domain listing, so all the domain that I get on this application. Same thing on the key interface. You got a command that is called YunoHost domain, list of command, and here this is just lists. And you have all those operations, so you are not trapped in the web interface. You can do things from the command line interface. And that's done because the way we program YunoHost is extremely simple, actually. It looks like a very simple web framework. We just define an entry point, so this is the listing of all the domain, and we declare it on the other side as a REST API entry point and as a key interface. And that's all. And so we can extend YunoHost very easily because the design is very flat, very orthogonal. Just to give you another idea, those are all the modules for YunoHost that are just simple Python files with simple function definition in them, and that gives you a list of operations that you can use after. So that makes a very, very simple architectural design and a very extensible one. And to continue in the architecture, to give you again an idea on how YunoHost is made. In yellow, this is the thing that we make. In green, this is the interface for the user. And YunoHost is this. This is the code I've just shown you. This is a simple Python thing, simple code that is going to manage your server and make the operation that you ask him to do. So you know, 2 entry port, Python key interface, REST API. So for the user, this is 2 kind of operation. And the single sign-on has been designed as a Lua Nginx module. So for Nginx, you can extend it programming in Lua, so you are convinced that you will get every request that comes to your server. So this is a very good guarantee of having an efficient SSO. And every application, depending on the configuration, have a request filter by the SSO. So you are fine with that. And the SSO is made using LDAP, like everyone. And every user in this database is going to get a mail and an XMPP account. And to continue to give you an idea on how YunoHost is made regarding application, some people understand application as package, like Debian package, but that's around the same thing at all. Applications is more like a layer on the top that give things like configuration, installation, removing, upgrade, and this kind of thing. And again, YunoHost, we choose a very simple design for that. An application is basically a manifest.json in which you declare your application, so name the kind of thing, and you list the argumentation that you want to receive at the installation of the application. I hope this is big enough for you to read. And you get your manifest.json, you get a script folder, and in which you put several shell scripts. Install, remove are the mandatory one. The other one are optional, but are recommended. Since once you modify your application, you want to make upgrade, and backup restore are very cool too. To dig a bit inside of it, this is how we work. So the installation application interface I've just showed you before. So you know name, domain, etc., and this kind of thing. What declined the manifest.json before, and your install script is just going to receive this kind of thing as bash variables. So to say it again, YunoHost, if you are a system administrator that knows how to install by hand an application, WordPress or this kind of thing, this is extremely simple for you to make an application for YunoHost. You just need to run some very short commands like, I want to register this domain name inside YunoHost. And that's all. After is the classical things you make, git clone, use your own Nginx configuration for this application, etc., etc., etc. So again, main point of YunoHost, thin layer on top of system administration, easy to use, easy to extend. So just I've told you a lot of the feature already, but on the one that I haven't talked about, we now have Let's Encrypt integration for domain. We offer DNS for free domain if you don't have anyone. We have advanced feature for people that want to modify YunoHost. So we have things that we call regenconf, so for regeneration of configuration. So if we saw that you modify a configuration that we take care of, we're not going to override it. I just told you, it is the diff of that. Same thing, we got hooks. So for every operation or good part of the operation, you can call script before or after if you want to extend YunoHost. And again, if you don't want to do any kind of thing like that, you don't have to. We also have firewall, fail to ban, and we try to be quite good as possible on security. Backups, some more monitoring. As you can see, code being very extensible, things are growing and growing and growing. So this is the slide on which I talk about the thing I don't talk about because it's not the most technical part, but this is very important for us. This is hard to count, but we can estimate that we get between 1,000 and 2,000 users, from very technical people to not very technical people, from people that just manage a group of their friends, to people that just manage their own server. The community is very friendly and we really like it. We want to give more power to this community, to allow it to contribute more to YunoHost, to be involved into YunoHost, and to give feedback to us. This is the thing that we work on right now. We get 20 official apps. This is growing. There is 63 community apps that are written, declared as being working for a total of a double. Things are growing because we made a lot of work on the application. Again, this is really easy for people to make application. And we want to involve the community to be able to add the things they want to. We are a collective. We don't have any chief, any leader, things like that. We are self-organized. We have our own rule that we written together. We recently made continuous integration for application to guarantee that when you got backup and things like that, things are going to work after. We made a huge list of tests for that. This is our recent work on this side. We also introduce app level, so level of quality for application, because application are a big part of YunoHost, but not the only one. And we wanted to give both for our user an indication of what they can expect from an application, and for our developer of application, a roadmap to follow and something that is motivating. They can just win level, and when they reach level 6, they can propose the application to be official. Yeah, our community gather in a forum and XPP chat room, and this is quite active. We have translation, but not enough translation. So if you speak thing other than French and English, please come. We got German that is quite okay, but need a little bit more of love. Same for Spanish, same for Portuguese, and every other language that you want. There is Hindi too, but I think the people that was working on that stopped. And sadly, for a lot of initiatives started in France, things are a bit hard to extract from France because French people speak a very bad English, even worse than me. So yeah, if you come to YunoHost, expect French. That's not a disease. But expect this kind of thing. We try to make it more open for other people, but this is a work that takes time. Especially because we reach people that are not extremely technically savvy. So those people are not the people that are going to speak English very well in France. But still, we are very open to other kind of community. Just to tell you, YunoHost, as I've told you, is a thin layer to make system administration way more easier. So we are connected with a lot of other projects. So first one is the next talk that I'm not talking about. This is basically how to distribute YunoHost with hardware, a bit like FreedomBox, but not exactly like FreedomBox. The Federation of Associative IP, that was a previous talk. Some people are looking and say, hey, maybe we can use YunoHost to give you a package to create your own ISP very easily. Framasoft and Chaton, this talk has been done before. Chaton is the collective of people that are making hosting of free software. On the mailing list, like at the beginning, I saw one people on free that was saying, oh, I'm using YunoHost, so I think I'm moving on that direction. Framasoft is also talking about YunoHost as a way to move out of Framasoft and to replicate Framasoft for you or a group of friends. Things are at the beginning, so it's in discussion. It's not guaranteed right now, but to give you an idea, that's YunoHost start to look a bit like someone of a core component on how we can make this kind of thing. So installation, Debian, and you don't know the script, you launch a script, ISO, Raspberry Pi, Emacs, this kind of thing you can expect. And the thing we want to do is enormous. There is a lot of things to do. So we need help. We need help in a lot of subjects. As I've told you, we got a very friendly community. We try to be a very friendly team, not having fun doing that. We are all volunteer. We're not here to kill ourselves, but we all believe this is important things to do. As I said, backend is Python, Lua if you want to work on the SSO, frontend, HTML, JS. If you know design or UX, this is the kind of thing where you can make a good impact. Application, I just saw you, Bash. Security, if you like security and code review, I have part of the code I want people to look at. Infrastructure, we have a Debian building toolchain. That is something that is not very easy to handle. So if you know this kind of thing, we would like to. We have some Ruby code running around. So if you like Ruby. And community, again, community translation, documentation. This is the kind of the 20% that we, our developers, are not able to do. We do the other 80%, but those are the last 20% that make a real difference for other people. And we really want to make a difference for other people. So if you like this kind of thing, join us. We are very open to that. And yeah, we got a beta testing. So if you want to test, the beta looks more like not real beta, but just make sure that in your super special edge case, things are not going to break because we make a lot of code review, a lot of testing before merging anything in the beta. So it's not that much like a beta. And just to finish, here's a link of the things that might interest you. We got a developer XMPP dev room. So if you want to join us, just come and ping us. And those are the other links that might interest you. Thanks for your time. If you have any questions. Ooh, fine. Yep.
So, do you plan to make your set of tools Debian package at some point?
No, not right now. So do we want to make our tools a Debian package? So the core of YunoHost, so YunoHost core and main interface and all those kind of things are Debian package. We got our own Debian repository and we build things ourselves. We haven't planned yet to be integrated fully into Debian because it's not the kind of thing that the team currently is able to handle and not maybe the kind of thing that we want to do because we have a very short release cycle right now. Every 2 months, 3 months, something like that. So that's not the kind of thing we want to do right now. Maybe later. Yes?
What's your strategy for backups? Do you try to push it on the cloud or on USB devices? Where do you want to put the backups?
So what is our strategy for backups? Backups is actually a very complicated subject. Right now, we only generate a zip file that you get with all your things. This is not optimal. Right now, the tool that everyone is using for making backup is called Borg Backup. We plan to integrate it directly into YunoHost. So this is a backup of SSH with deduplication, encryption, and this kind of thing. Very well made. This is the idea right now. But backup, backup is not that hard. Restoring is very, very hard. That's very, very. Everyone look at the GitLab first call last week. So this is the kind of thing that we need to think a lot about and make a lot of experiments to get it right. But yeah, so that's our current strategy right now, and we're working on that. Has anyone got another question? Yes?
What can be the dependencies of an application? Like I can write it in any language?
So what is the dependency for an application? So right now it's just executing a file. So technically you could write it in another language than in Bash. We choose to use Bash script by default because this is the easier way for people to enter a commit application. We got prototype to launch Ansible to do applications. So it's quite extensible. We are open to this kind of discussion. So just come if you want to make this in another way. Yes?
If I already got an email server on one host and then go server on another host and I want to integrate things, would it be handy to do that with YunoHost?
So
Could I install it on one server and make it manage software on another server?
So the question is, can you use YunoHost on one server and manage another server with it? No. Right now, YunoHost is a really thin layer to do the common things that you would do. We have a shitload of things to do, and this is not the kind of thing that we are looking right now, but you know, things are open, so if you want to do this kind of thing, just come and talk to us. Another question? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any roadmap to port Framasoft application to YunoHost application?
So the question is there any roadmap to port all the application that Framasoft has been promoting to YunoHost? Yes. So there is actually a roadmap in Redmine saying, yeah, we want to do that. We already got quite a lot of percentage of that. I can try to look at it, but I don't know if this is going to work. And this is Redmine, and Redmine is not always very happy. So application issue. But this is a real one. Yeah. So we are here. We got 13 applications on 31 right now, and we really want to make to put all application of Framasoft inside YunoHost, and Framasoft is also interested by that, and they want to give one half day or 1 day.
Half day or 1 day.
Yeah, per week to Luc, who is not here anymore, who is the system administrator, to do this kind of thing. So yeah, that's one of the idea. If we manage to synchronize with Framasoft, that would be, you want to replicate Framasoft at your place, you can use YunoHost for small community. Yes?
How do you estimate the number of users you have?
So the list of applications that you saw at the beginning is just is stored in a JSON file on our server. So I just took the log on Apache and just take like 2 days and just sort unique on the IP addresses, and that looked like 1,600 and something like that. But things is really moving another way, and we're not really interested in spying to our users. It's not really the kind of thing we want to do. Yes.
My question is a bit the context of the previous question.
Yeah.
If I already have something running on an IP address on a host, and I install YunoHost next to it, will it make a virtual host for and can also use multiple SSL certificates or TLS certificates?
So if I understand correctly, the question is it going to make a virtual host?
And it's going to fight with the already existing.
Yes, I think that it really depends on. So is YunoHost going to fight with my already existing installation? There is quite some chance. It really depends on what you've made. But for example, if you were using Apache, you can just proxy Apache beyond Nginx, because we use Nginx, and you just have to declare things in the SSO to say just to the SSO, just don't take care about that. So there is a way to put YunoHost in it, but this has been thought at the beginning to not take part of your whole system, but just make a first installation after you customize it. But if you want, we can just talk about it, see if it's possible. Yes?
When you provide services in YunoHost, do you pre-configure the services and the tools on the security level? And if so, what is the governance around this pre-configuration? Do you add additional security?
So the question is, do we add any additional security to the tool we package in YunoHost? So this is led to the package developer. We are writing right now the specification on how you should make a good application. In this kind of thing, yeah, we said we want good security. But for now, those are common classical Unix practice. So one user per application, one database per application, read-only files for PHP because of PHP. This kind of thing. So we haven't went full crazy with AppArmor or SLinux or this kind of thing.
For example, there is a discovery that a cipher is dangerous. Is there some response provided by YunoHost in this case? If something dangerous is if there is a serious issue, a serious vulnerability, is there a unified way to YunoHost to have the information to allow those users who are not specialists to react?
Yeah, so very quickly. So the question was actually if there is a server vulnerability in an application, how do we inform our user and how do we handle the situation? So there is a feed right now saying, oh, there is security information, you should upgrade this package or this way. We have a right to to modify every application. They are maintained by some people, but once there is a security issue, yeah, we make the modification as soon as possible. Sorry, time is up, but yeah, I'm supposed to be a development manager too, so you can't allow this for me. Thanks everyone.